The footage was only 47 seconds long. I've watched it 200 times. I installed that camera to catch a package thief. That's all it was supposed to be. A $40 camera. A quiet neighborhood. A normal life. But the man walking through my front door at 2:14 in the afternoon wasn't me. And my wife, the woman I'd spent 11 years building everything with, she let him in. She hugged him. What happened next? I almost didn't watch. But I did. And the moment I saw it, something in me went completely silent. Not angry. Not destroyed. Just silent. This is that story. I'm not the jealous type. I want to say that first. I've never gone through her phone. Never questioned where she was. Never needed to. Elena and I met in our late 20s. Married at 31. By the time this happened, we'd been together 11 years, married for 8. We had a house. A dog. A joint account with both our names on it. I traveled for work. Regional sales. 2, sometimes 3 nights a week on the road. She worked from home, graphic design, freelance. She set her own hours. It worked for us. It always worked. The camera was Marcus's idea. My neighbor. Retired. Too much time and a Ring subscription he liked to talk about. Third porch theft on the street this month, he told me over the fence one Saturday. I ordered a camera that night. Nothing fancy. Motion activated. Wide angle. Saved footage to an app on my phone. I mounted it above the front door myself. Told Elena about it. She laughed. 4 packages? 4 packages, I said. That was October. For 2 months, the camera caught nothing but wind, leaves, and the FedEx guy. I stopped checking the app. December 11th, Tuesday. I was in Columbus for a 2-day client meeting. Checked into the hotel around noon. At 2:09 p.m., my phone buzzed. Motion detected, front door. I didn't open it right away. I was in a meeting. At 6:17 p.m., I opened the app. The thumbnail stopped me cold. I told myself it was nothing. A friend. A cousin. Someone dropping something off. Elena had people over sometimes. Of course she did. I was gone half the week. I pressed play. The man was tall. Dark jacket. He had his back to the camera at first. Elena opened the door before he even knocked. She was already smiling. She stepped forward, not to the side to let him in, but forward, and put her arms around him. Not a side hug. Not a friendly squeeze. Both arms. His hands on her back. 7 seconds. I counted. He stepped inside. The door closed. The footage ended at 2:56 p.m. 47 minutes. I sat in that hotel room for a long time. Didn't call her. Didn't text. Just sat there with my phone face down on the bed, staring at the ceiling like it had an answer printed on it. Here's what I kept coming back to: she hadn't looked around first. No glance over the shoulder. No checking the street. She wasn't nervous. Which meant she wasn't new to this. I flew home the next morning. Early flight. Didn't tell her. Hidden clue number 1, the camera had been recording for 2 months. I hadn't checked most of the footage. I drove slow through our neighborhood. Sat in the car outside for a minute. Our house looked exactly the same. Same front door. Same welcome mat she picked out. Same potted plant she forgot to water half the time. Everything exactly the same. Except now I was looking at it differently. I went inside. Elena was at her desk. Headphones on. She spun around when she heard me. The smile came fast. Too fast, maybe. Or maybe I was already seeing things. "You're home early," she said. "Meeting's wrapped up," I said. She got up and hugged me. I hugged her back. Held on for a second longer than usual, trying to feel something. Trying to feel the difference between real and performance. I couldn't tell. And that scared me more than anything I'd seen on that footage. That night, while she slept, I opened the app. And I started going back. 2 months of footage. 47 minutes was just the beginning. I didn't sleep that night. Elena was beside me, breathing slow and even, completely at peace. I lay there with my phone under the covers like a teenager hiding something. Except I wasn't hiding anything. She was. The app stored 60 days of footage. I started at the beginning. October 14th. Most of it was nothing. Wind. Leaves. The FedEx guy. Marcus waving from across the street. I fast-forwarded through weeks of ordinary life and felt something strange, grief, almost, watching how normal everything looked from the outside. October 28th, 11:42 a.m. There he was. Same jacket. Same build. This time he was carrying coffee. 2 cups. Elena opened the door the same way, already smiling, already stepping forward. Same hug. This time I could see his face. Late 30s. Clean cut. Nothing remarkable. Just a man bringing my wife coffee on a Tuesday morning while I was 3 hours away closing a deal. I checked the dates. October 28th. I was in Pittsburgh. November 6th. I was in Cincinnati. November 19th, Columbus again. Every single visit landed on a day I was out of town. Not a coincidence. A schedule. Hidden clue number 2, in the October 28th footage, Elena was wearing the blue sweater. The one she told me she'd lost at the gym. I remembered that. She came home one day, annoyed, said she'd left it somewhere and couldn't find it. I believed her. In the footage she was wearing it when she opened the door. She wasn't wearing it when he left 40 minutes later. I put the phone down. Picked it up again. Put it down. I went to the kitchen and stood at the sink for a long time, running cold water over my hands like I was trying to wash something off. It wasn't anger yet. It was the specific kind of pain that comes from realizing the timeline of your life has been quietly rewritten without your knowledge. Every trip. Every "I miss you" text. Every phone call from the hotel room where she asked how my day was. All of it playing in my head differently now. I went back to the footage. November 19th visit. I watched closer this time. When he left, and this is the part that broke something in me, Elena walked him to the door. Normal enough. But before he stepped out, she checked the street. Both directions. Quick. Practiced. Then she looked directly up at the camera. Not at the street anymore. At the camera. For just under 2 seconds. Then she looked away, smiled at him, and he left. She knew. She knew the camera was there. She'd known since October. And she'd let it happen anyway. That's when the first real question hit me. Not who is he? Not how long? But, why would she keep doing this if she knew I might see it? There are only a few answers to that question. She didn't care. She wanted me to find out. Or the camera wasn't the thing she was worried about. I closed the app 6:04 a.m. Elena's alarm would go off in 26 minutes. I had 26 minutes to decide what version of myself was going to be sitting at that kitchen table when she walked in. The husband who knew nothing. Or the husband who knew everything. I made coffee. And I made a decision. I sat at that kitchen table for 23 minutes. Coffee in front of me. Untouched. I'd made a decision. But decisions made at 6 a.m. after no sleep have a way of shifting the moment you hear footsteps on the stairs. She came down in her robe. Hair loose. Eyes still soft from sleep. She saw me and smiled. "You're up early." "Couldn't sleep," I said. She moved to the coffee maker like it was any other morning. Poured herself a cup. Leaned against the counter. "You okay?" "Yeah," I said. "Just tired." And that was it. That was the moment I chose. I said nothing. Not because I was afraid. Not because I didn't have the words. Because I needed one more thing before I blew up 11 years. I needed a name. I called my brother-in-law that afternoon. Elena's younger brother, Danny. Not to ask about her. Just to talk. But 10 minutes in, without planning it, I heard myself say, "Hey, does Elena still keep in touch with anyone from her old job? Before the freelance stuff? Casual. Easy." There was a pause on Danny's end. Short. But there. Not really. Why? No reason. She mentioned someone the other day. Couldn't remember the name. Another pause. I wouldn't know, man. You'd have to ask her. He changed the subject fast. Too fast. Danny knew. I didn't know how much. But he knew something. And that meant this wasn't just between Elena and a man in a dark jacket. This had edges. People. A shape I couldn't fully see yet. Major twist number 1, that evening I did something I'm not proud of. I went through her laptop. She was in the shower. I had maybe 8 minutes. I wasn't looking for messages. I wasn't even sure what I was looking for. But I found the folder by accident. Buried inside a client project folder. Labeled with a random string of numbers. Inside, documents. Legal documents. A lease agreement. Signed 6 months ago. An apartment 20 minutes from our house. Her name on it. Her signature. But not our address. A different one. And at the bottom of the lease, a co-signer. The name stopped me completely. It wasn't the man from the footage. It was Danny. Her brother. I closed the laptop exactly the way I found it. Sat back. Breathed. The shower was still running. I had maybe 4 minutes. My brain was moving fast but everything felt underwater. Danny hadn't signed because he was helping her hide an affair. A lease that old, co-signed by family, that wasn't romantic cover. That was an exit plan. She wasn't hiding a relationship. She was hiding a departure. The man in the footage wasn't her lover. He was something else entirely. And I still didn't know what. She came out of the bathroom 20 minutes later. I was on the couch. TV on. Nothing registered. She sat beside me. Put her head on my shoulder. Long day, she said. Yeah, I said. She fell asleep there inside of 10 minutes. And I sat completely still, her breathing on my shoulder, staring at the wall. Thinking about a lease signed 6 months ago. Thinking about Danny's pause on the phone. Thinking about the man at the door who wasn't her lover. So who was he? I had one move left. And I was going to have to make it face to face. I called Danny the next morning. No small talk this time. I need to meet you. Today. Just us. A long pause. Okay, he said quietly. Just that. No question. No why or what's going on. He already knew why. We met at a diner 20 minutes from the house. He was already there when I arrived. Coffee in front of him. Hands wrapped around the cup like he needed something to hold on to. I sat down. Didn't say anything. Just looked at him. He broke in under 30 seconds. She was going to tell you, he said. She kept saying she was going to tell you. Tell me what, Danny? He looked at the table. Everything. It came out in pieces. 18 months ago, Elena had been diagnosed with something. Not terminal. But serious. A chronic condition that had been quietly advancing for over a year. She hadn't told me. She hadn't told anyone except Danny. And the man in the footage, the man I'd spent 3 days believing was destroying my marriage, was her doctor. A specialist. House calls weren't standard. But he'd made exceptions for her because she'd been too afraid to go to a clinic where someone might recognize her. Too afraid I'd find out before she was ready to tell me herself. The apartment. The lease Danny co-signed. That wasn't an exit plan from our marriage. It was a contingency. A place she could go if the condition progressed and she needed care she didn't want me to witness. She didn't want me to watch her get worse. She was trying to protect me. I sat in that diner booth and felt 11 years rearrange themselves inside my chest. Every trip I'd taken. Every night I'd been 3 hours away. She'd been managing this alone. Appointments alone. Fear alone. Decisions about her own future, alone. Because she loved me too much to let it touch me before she had to. Final revelation, I drove home. Elena was at her desk. Headphones on. Same as always. I stood in the doorway for a moment just watching her. She spun around. Saw my face. And she knew. She didn't ask what I'd found out or how. She just said, I'm sorry. I didn't know how to say it. I crossed the room and sat on the edge of her desk. How long? I asked. 18 months, she said. Maybe more. And the apartment? Her eyes filled. I didn't want you to have to watch me disappear, she whispered. I know that sounds crazy. It sounds like you, I said. We sat there for a long time. Not talking. Not crying. Just the two of us in a quiet room, finally in the same version of the truth. The camera caught a betrayal. Just not the one I thought. She'd been hiding something for 18 months. But it wasn't another man. It was her own fear. And her stubborn, heartbreaking decision to carry it alone rather than hand any part of it to me. I'm still angry sometimes. Not at her. Not really. At the months I could have been beside her. At every hotel room where I slept easy while she sat with something heavy and said nothing. That's the part that stays with me. Trust isn't just about honesty. Sometimes the people who love us most hide things not to deceive us, but to spare us. And sometimes that protection is its own kind of wound. If someone you loved was suffering in silence to protect you, would you want to know the truth, or would you have let them carry it? Next time, a man finds a box his late father left behind with specific instructions, don't open it until I'm gone. He waited 30 years. What was inside changed everything he believed about who he came from.